minute till we accept all the attendees, or shall I start? Okay, so let me just start the today's session. Hi everybody, I am CA Michelle de Mello, and I am the Master of Ceremonies for this session of Prerna Series. Today we have with us CA Mira Shah, who will be conducting the session for today. A brief introduction of CA Mira. So Mira Shah is a practicing chartered accountant in the field of project finance, ESG, valuations, IPOs, and startups. Clearing CA finals back in 2019 at the age of 22, in a stint of 4 years, she has had the opportunity to lead numerous debt syndicates projects, including consortiums, multiple banking, MSMEs to large corporates. Assisted in arranging private equity and prepared various project reports, information memorandum, and pitch decks. She has also been a part of the IPO listing of few MSMEs. Being a science student who gradually turned into a finance and accounting professional, she has often been recognized for a unique dimension to situation. Having learned physics, chemistry, and math has also helped her understand and advise her industrial, entrepreneurial, and technocrat clients better. Consequently, startups and valuations become her favorite subject. With ESG emerging to a buzzword and sustainable investing becoming increasingly important in the backdrop of global warming and climate change, she also completed her certification course on business responsibility and sustainability reporting in 2022 to advance in that direction. Apart from her professional experience, she has also participated in various activities like Digital India Hackathon, post her CPT exam, wherein their app became their most likely app by the judges. She has also participated in workshops on startup evolution, venture capital, and marketing. As part of the annual management symposium of IIMA, Conference 16, the flagship event. And she has also participated in workshop on business leadership, branding, organized by India SME Forum. Delivered CPE lecture on the subject of basics of project finance, opportunities for CAs at Ahmedabad branch virtually last year, which was well received by 200 participants. She has also been the youngest member and convener of the Women Members Empowerment Committee of Ahmedabad branch in the subsequent year 2021. Also had the opportunity to meet and interact with the erstwhile Gujarat CM and our present Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi in 2007. In the leisure time, she pursues digital art by the name Miraculotis and loves singing and reading, non-fiction self-help books, and above all, strongly believes in being an eternal learner. So this was all about CA Mira. Over to her to conduct the entire session.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for the wonderful introduction. I'm totally honored to be here as a speaker today. And I welcome the participants who are here and who are having an inclination to learn the design techniques and how it influences various brands, including our profession as professional practitioners. Let me share my screen now. I hope my voice is properly audible. Yes.
Yes, Mira, it's audible.
So today, I'll first of all congratulate WIRC for arranging such an innovative and out-of-the-box session as a part of Prerna Series. It is innovative in the sense that designing as an aspect is often overlooked by many of us, especially when people tend to be more into the profession like ours. designing or colors or creativity is often sidelined. So it's a great move. So today we are going to discuss the aspects of designing, how the fonts, style, colors, deliverables, and how they influence any brand. So in this session, we are going to go through what is a brand and what revolves around creating a brand strategy, how it communicates with the people in general, what are the elements of a brand, of a successful brand, how to create a visual identity, how to make it remarkable. Also, uh, how branding and designing is relevant in our context. Also, we'll check what the member statistics are as of present and understand the importance of branding. Also, we are going to see various applications, how and where we can use the concepts of graphic design. In particular, we are going to check the concepts revolving around typography. So relating to the font style, font sizing, their positioning, proximity, their spacing, and the colors we use for it. Also, we are going to check one case study, like we'll hands-on check one article of report, and we'll check how they are incorporating all the concepts of graphic design in one document or any of their deliverable that they are using. So, what exactly is a brand, and what comes to your mind when we mention the word brand? Can anybody from the audience share their views? Would anybody like to share their view? So it's pretty well known that uh, when we think of a brand, we always think about brands like Google, Nike, Apple, first of all. And so, what it denotes is the business or a product and how it is perceived by general public or by the people who use this or experience the product or services. So it not only includes the customers, it also includes the investors, employees, the media, and all the ecosystem that is involved in um, around the brand. So a brand is not just a company's name or logo or product or a price tag. It is a feeling that can be evoked into a person's mind when they think of the word or when they think of a brand. And about the influence it makes over the public, we can say that uh, whatever a brand makes us feel, it directly influences their purchasing behavior. And after all, the purchasing behavior influences the bottom line of the brand. And we can understand the importance of bottom line for any business. So let's understand a few elements of the brand. So it consists of brand positioning, brand architecture, brand compass, brand archetype, brand personality, brand promise, value proposition, competitive advantage, visual identity, and verbal identity. So these are the 10 elements of a brand. And we one by one just quickly check what this signifies. So a brand positioning is the perception about the location or the presence of a brand in a particular competitive landscape. So if we talk about Apple, then its competitors are Samsung, say Samsung. Then the brand architecture. It it includes the coordinated system of say colors, symbols, and visual language. So for Apple itself, we know that it it's it always supports, or it is always committed to innovation, and it has that uh, half-eaten thing in their logo, which differentiates it from its competitors. Then the brand compass encompasses the purpose, mission, vision, and values. The archetype is something which say there is a mascot of a brand, like say Amul, and it gives a very resonating or very relatable narrative to the brand. So Amul has that little girl which is always relevant and talks about the topics in general and is always up to date. So brand personality is it visible again? Well, I hope it is. Okay, thank you, Ashwini. So brand promise is normally conveyed by a tagline that sometime what the brand is pledging to serve as their to their customers. Value proposition is the problem that uh, the brand solves. Competitive advantage is how it is different from its competitors. What is providing a competitive edge to the brand. Visual identity is the entire set of logo, color scheme, typography, photography, iconography, illustrations, infographics, uh, and that is what our session is going to revolve about for today. Verbal identity includes the brand name, the tagline, the brand voice, and copywriting. So if we discuss recently, Zomato had this ad during Mother's Day and even after during World Cup, some match of World Cup, it is this very quirky brand voice, and they were discussing about how is it Zomato and how is it Zomato. So that's just an example of it. So what is a visual identity? Visual identity embodies all the elements of your brand, and it includes the all the elements like we discussed: the brand compass, archetype, personality, promise, proposition, and it is this comprehensive system that makes it remarkable, and recognizable, and what sets it apart from its competitors. So, if we discuss it in general, visual identity includes your logo, color scheme, typography, photography, iconography, illustrations, and so on. So, it is an aesthetic system. So it gives pleasure to your eyes. It should not, you know, feel that something is missing here. So it should be aesthetic, and it is a very powerful tool to communicate to your audience, and it is an experience for those who are consuming the content. So once if we discuss the importance of branding, once the former CEO of Quaker Oats told that if this quoted that if this business were to split up, I would give you the land and bricks and mortar, and I would take the brand and fare better than you. So this is about the comparison between, or how important it is, the intangible or the soft assets in comparison with the hard assets, and just speaks volumes about the importance of branding. So in our context, uh, we we can understand the importance of, say, today's session, or the importance of typography by its applications. Where can we apply the concepts of design, which we are going to look at today? So um, the bill these are a few these are a few instances where we can use, and uh, so website is one of them. Our digital presence on various social media platforms, then logo and brand identity, reports reports and documents, marketing and promotional materials, of course within the uh, uh, framework of the ethical requirements, email signatures and communication, and even if we go beyond the uh, documentation part, even office interiors and stationaries, like if you visit any big four or any other big firm, we can certainly make out that their brand colors, their brand designs, like EY has that inclined cut, and you will find that somewhere imbibed in their interiors as well. And like, not only it is very important to be consistent throughout in your digital and physical applications, and that is going to build a very strong brand presence. So I don't know how many of us here, but if I ask how many of us here would rate yourself 8 or above, scale of 10 on your digital presence? You can share your answers in the chat box. So I assume none, and that totally conveys the need for the same. So often when we think about digital presence in our context, we as a CA always think that, see, digital marketing is bad, it is not for us, and it is against ICI regulations. But let's check the bare text that what the CA Act has to say for this, and what we can follow as a healthy practice to, imbibe digital presence and graphic designing and our brand presence in our field. So, chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he solicits clients or professional work either directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, or interview, or by any other means. So, we keeping this aside, what can we do in terms of uh, our firm's branding or our branding as a CEO? So, this is some statistics as on 30th September 23 for FCP and full-time COP holders. So the number was around 94,630. And we can understand that in this competitive landscape, how important or how crucial it is for us to stand apart. So, if we quote or if we check the institute guidelines regarding logo of a CA or of a CA, then earlier it was allowed, but since past few years, uh, it is not allowed, and we can check it here as in the February 2010 issue of the CA journal. It clearly suggests that the logo or monogram of any kind or any font, style, design, color, etc. cannot be used. However, a common CA logo that has been provided by the institute is permissible to be used if it is used in the correct manner as provided by the council guidelines. So I've seen various, these days people are putting their hiring messages also on various social media platforms and they are using this logo. But I often find that it is not being used correctly. And I've just kept here an excerpt from the guidelines, and it is clearly mentioning the exact color of the logo, which should not be tweaked at any point of time. And also the way it should be used, the colors should not be changed. It should not be rotated. Also, it should not be used without the rounded rectangle because it has its own significance in the logo. It suggests how, as a CA, we are to remain in our professional dignity. So, when we are using the CA logo, we should make sure that we are downloading it from an authentic source and we are using it as provided as according to the council guidelines. And also that we are not supposed to use the Garud logo. Garud logo is not supposed to be used by us. As an instance in a photograph also with the tagline Desho Jagriti can be visible, but you cannot use it per se. So we understand that we cannot have a CA form logo. So what can we do within the ethical framework? What we can do is we can use a standardized font style for our form, and let's see how we can choose the type and the colors and what all things do we need to take care for the same. The font types we use uh, should, directly convey, directly suggest that the principles of professionalism and trustworthiness into the typeface. So some broad categories of any typeface are listed here. So serif, sans serif, script, and decorative. So if we understand from this photo, this picture suggests the serif part. This is like the stand part. So any serif font would have this. And some common examples of serif font are Times New Roman, Garamond, Georgia, and Valentine. So the other is sans serif, which is without this. So basically, in this world where minimalism is trending, the modern typefaces are mostly sans serif without this. They are pretty sleek and clean. So serif fonts are the most classic of the bunch, and it conveys that you are an established and traditional company which is trustworthy. Its subcategories include old style, slab, transitional, modern, and glyphic. So slab, from the name, what I can suggest for a slab is that it is the serif is quite heightened for any slab of variant of the font. And this is quite suitable for any of our professional fonts to choose. So like the name suggests, sans serif fonts like the serif, and this can be efficiently used in modern devices like we discussed. So more and more startups we see uh, which are organized and which are evolving have this clean look, and they use fonts like sans serif. Some examples are Arial, Helvetica, Futura, and Calibri. So once upon a time, Helvetica used to be it was well known that Helvetica is graphic designers' favorite. When they cannot think of any good font, like after hours and hours of scrolling and trying various fonts, one thing which always struck was Helvetica, which always went well. By the way, this presentation is also using Helvetica. So script type fonts are which are more casual and creative, and sometimes like they are like script, like the name suggests. So they are calligraphy or handwritten, and due to its legibility issue, they are not normally used in the body text, but for purposes like invitations or which are uh, content or communication which are less formal, script fonts can be used. They are elegant in nature, like this one. This one is tangerine. Decorative fonts are also known as the display fonts. They are unique for various purposes, and they are uniquely created, and they don't have any official categorization, and they are most suitable for display fonts, and very less suitable for an organization like ours. So what all can we do for any typography? What we can do to show emphasis over something when the content is written, when we have some written content with us? and we need to format it. Then, like in normal course, we make it bold or we underline it or we strike through when something like when we are talking about some price or we are showing some sort of a correction. We use strike through or some links to be prominently shown, we underline. We use italics when it is sort of an explanation or we are adding references in a document. So something offbeat would always attract attention. So this is how we can draw emphasis over a particular piece of written content. So this is just one of the examples of how we can create emphasis, but it is quite well known. So let's move to another factor. So once the typeface we have chosen, it is very important to understand that colors play a very significant role in conveying your brand message to your customers or your clients. And there are three primary colors: blue, red, and yellow. And the secondary colors can be obtained by blue and yellow, mixing blue and yellow. This is green, this is purple, and this is orange. So these are secondary. And adding a primary and secondary, we get the tertiary color. So the psychology behind various colors, you can check here that normally all the professional firms or all the firms which are into consultancy or into finance and related services, they use this color often. So that is the color, that is blue. It suggests trust, security, calmness, peace, honesty. Like I said, often used by banks. Green denotes wealth. It also suggests health, and it is the easiest color for the eyes. Yellow is used when you want to add that fun or creative touch to the entire typography or the design. Similarly, orange, it adds vibrancy and it creates an urgency for attention. The red also denotes vitality, stamina, urgency, as well as it is also a hunger-inducing color. So, like the McDonald's uses it, Zomato uses it. Pink as a psychology, pink as a color in psychology suggests romantic and feminine aspects and often aimed at girls or women. This is pretty stereotyped, I find, but that's okay. That's the psychology. Purple suggests soothing and calming emotions, intuition, and imagination. So, more or less, any brand would not be able to carry more than two of these colors. Only only companies like Google can do it because it is very diversified and it has also used the colors they are using. It is very calculated maths they have applied in the colors as well. So what we can go with is blue and black for blue, black, gray for forms in our field. So one important aspect in any typography is contrast, and contrast in terms of fonts as well and colors as well. So why we use contrast is to depict some importance of the subject matter. So we can create emphasis through contrast. And to create emphasis, it is very important that we uh, use high contrast. Like this is very disturbing and disturbing to the eye, and it does not even convey, or it is not even properly legible. It is an example of bad contrast. It is using complementary colors, but the contrast is um, very low. So normally when we are looking at contrast, what we can do is we can choose opposite colors in a color wheel. Nearby colors would not generate proper contrast, and it would affect the overall design and readability of the document or any creative for that matter. So something which is very important for our reports, say we are issuing a audit report or valuation report or any report for that matter, we need to bear in mind that font hierarchy is very important, and that is what allows the reader to properly understand your content. So as we can see, the font size is big, the contrast is low. But since the font size is big, we can read it easily. So we'll probably read this first, then the subheading, then this, which is slightly smaller than this, but larger than the font size of this paragraph. So that's how the hierarchy and its surrounding psychology works. So we might not even sometimes read this one line, which is hiding in the heading, and it is in italics. So the font hierarchy is very important when we are drafting any document, and for any report that we make in MS Word. The ideal font size is 14, but we can work with 12 as well for the body text. So we move on to the next aspect. So when we talk about font hierarchy, not just documents, we saw the applications of fonts and font styles and typography. It included the website design and the digital presence. So call to action in your website can be a very important button, will be a very uh, important part of your website. So it is not necessary that it is way big than your heading, but it should be seen prominently, and the font should stand out and the button should stand out so that it makes it easier for the viewer to make the decision and to act upon the call to action. So we can use different color, which is again in sync with the overall brand colors, and the size also needs to be properly used, size of the font in call to action. We can see how icons have been used here. and it serves its own important purpose. So many a times we find that uh, if even one look at the document will make us go like, oh, it's too messy, it's too chaotic. It's because somewhere the line spacing or the font spacing is being messed up. So as a general uh, rule, it is a best practice, but it is not say straight away a rule. But it is advisable that the line spacing should be at least 1.5 within paragraph. Like in the same paragraph, when the content is continuous, say for any website design or any document, it should be at least a space and a half in comparison to your font size. Then spacing following paragraphs should be at least 2 times the font size. So between two paragraphs, it should be at least 2 times the font size. So if we suppose these are two different paragraphs, it should be 2 times the height of this line. Now spacing between letters should be at least 0.12 times. So this is the letter spacing. Sometimes we might see that in newspapers, uh, letter spacing is adjusted and uh, it becomes too condensed for us to read. So things like this should be taken care of. And spacing between words should be 0.16 times of the font size. So it is understandable that between two words there should be more space than that between two letters. So this is uncomfortable to read. This is okay. This is too stretched. And this is okay because they have used capital case for the same. So it is balancing the spacing. Thing we should take care is that between a paragraph or between related content, there should not be much space. Like we should follow the hierarchy and we should follow consistency as well. That it between one paragraph, if we are keeping this much space, then between the next paragraph as well, properly spacing should be managed. Also, one very common observation is that we don't align or justify the content that we are putting in a document. So that makes a whole lot of difference in the presentation of your document. So if we talk about web design, we should take care that we are not using some font which are not available to all or which are not already downloaded in somebody's system. Like some fonts for contents which we are using should be common or which should be widely used. Or if you are developing some own fonts, own brand fonts, say like Adani uses its own fonts, then and you don't have access to it, you should have a fallback font within your site score so that a person who is coming over there does not drop off looking at the content because of the fonts, because of the non-readability of the same. So these are some safe fonts which are best supported across Windows and Mac. Sans serif options are this and serif options are this. And while you are getting your website developed, you should take care that this thing is taken care of. Fallback fonts. So if we talk about our example, we normally have this format KXYZ and Co. Chartered Accountants. So what we can do is we can combine font styles, and we can follow this standard font styles across our documentation in all our stationery. So while combining font style, we have to take care that we are choosing complementary fonts. Fonts should complement each other, like say serif and non-serif, sans serif, right? So also the size of the font style, when it should look like the main name and the tagline. Also, we can consider context. Say if we are adding a tagline to some heading for creative uh, of the company, then we can even consider calligraphy or script. As long as it is legible, that can be used, and it should be elegant as well. So in a document, we should take care that the number of fonts that we are using are minimum, like not more than 3. And also the size, the consistency should prevail among the size of the fonts as well. So there should be maximum 3 or 4 sizes that should be seen in the entire document. One for body text, one for heading, one for subheading, and one for comments also. And while you're combining styles, we should take care that similar fonts are not being taken, or they will create a very confusing visual. You can also combine fonts in a way that the main font is in the uppercase and the secondary font is in the lowercase or first letter capital, that way. Like you can see here, this is a decorative font, and it is all caps. Even the secondary line item is caps. While this one is all small case and this one is caps. So we have to check how how it conveys, how it is presented, what emotions it evokes. So uh, in any document or any even physical elements or in digital media, we something which is not in alignment will always we will bring a sense of chaos to your mind. So if something is of a group, it should be properly aligned. Also aligned in the sense that it is in one line. Also, it should be left aligned or right aligned based on the spacing or based on the position of the content. And out of alignment gives a very bad visual. For proximity as a concept of graphic design, when contents of a components of a group are being placed, then they have to be placed at equal positioning, equal spacing. Say, for example, these are the contents of a similar group, of the same group, then this is being perceived as a one single group. And this, due to the spacing here, it suggests that these are two groups. And it anyway imbibes the alignment concept in itself. So we discussed all these aspects or all these concepts of graphic design or of making or beautifying your reports. let's check one of the works of brand promotion. We will see how they have incorporated all these concepts to their deliverable. Just a second. The document. Just a second. So I'm unable to reach this particular document right now. But let's check one another insights issue of EY. So on the first page, see there is this subtle um, arc, subtle inclined shape in D. The entire font is not that way, but the D is that. It gives a subtle suggestion about the EY logo, which is there. The yellow, the line that is there. Then in the entire document, there is only one variant of the color yellow, which is their brand color. Right? The first page we can see is very simple and very clear. What needs to be highlighted is in bold. Its its font size is large. The contents are mentioned over here in reasonable size of fonts, and we can see how beautifully they have used the concept of contrast over here. So against this dark backdrop, yellow would not have been clearly visible. So they have used yellow, thereby maintaining the colors of the document for the box outline, which in any way would not add more to the value, but the contents are in white, which creates a strong contrast. And whenever we are using some logo or any image in particular, which is against another image, then it is a very good practice that we remove the background of that particular picture. Like it is a logo, we could have used it with a frame, but it is beautifully placed and it is even prominently visible. So this is the call to action we were talking about. We click over here and it is very uh, prominently placed here to grab the attention of the user. Then it takes us to the forward. So we can see that the team and the part which is important but and necessary, but we know that it is not going to add much value. So the font size it is limited or is small, and when they are using uh, this image in their creative, they have put this particular leaf. Uh, they have placed or arranged it over this uh, white shape. Thereby, it is not even creating a blank space. It would have been otherwise. They would have placed it behind the white thing. And also, if we see the written content has a backdrop of the same picture, but the green dots are very less. So, first of all, when you are using contrast, it is advisable that when it is a long or a lengthy document, you don't put it against a dark backdrop, because in digital media, it is a bit difficult for readers. But it is only there in the forward, so it is okay, acceptable. Then, since this is a large font, they have not cared much about the contrast because it is anyway going to get conveyed. And the use of the brand color is also thereby satisfied. And they have also blurred the backdrop image, so that it is better for the reader to see. Similarly, the table of contents, they have ditched the original or the traditional style of listing out the contents, and they have presented it in a very unique manner. And at the end of each page, we can see that they have kept this back, home, and forward button. So we click on this and we go to the first page. So you notice that wherever the written matter is there and it is lengthy, they have used it against white backdrop without any other interventions. So this is a code which they have highlighted using large size of font colors. Then the important messages in the article are mentioned here. This is the heading which they have placed again very prominently. And you'll see this page number section. It is a very good practice to incorporate page numbers, functioning table of contents in a document, especially for reports. And when we are sharing reports like valuation or any other report, project report, yeah, a functional table of contents would add much value. It also gives a sense of professionalism. So for references, they have used very small font size. So overall, if we check the alignment, everything is left aligned. So everything is very consistent. And if we see, they have used 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 font sizes. Again, they have used a very soft image where the content is going to be written, against which the content is written, and they've also used their brand color to emphasize on particular portion of the article. They have used bold here, and again the fonts, if we see, they are these EY specific fonts with the LL having that cut. See how consistent they are when the first same format they are using for the second article. Some numbers which they want to highlight are in with the font size which is larger than the written content. Then again, we can see how they have smartly used the infographics for the timeline which they want to showcase. In a format like this, which is like a magazine, they have used very efficiently the space and the portrait mode for depicting a timeline. Again, all the documents you'll find all the brand colors, that is gray, yellow, and black. See how they've used the concepts of QR code so that it is very handy and helpful for the user to come back to or to refer more. Again, the use of infographics. Again, how they've highlighted the percentage. See how aesthetically how they've used these numbers. We all know that the entire one or the numeric 2 or 3 or 4, it is always going to be understood. They have also managed space with this smart movie. Also, we can see that in all the documents, all the pages, they have properly given uh, adequate breathing space to each and every element. See, for in between two paragraphs, there is enough space. Again, the use of infographics over here. Infographics are also designed in such a manner that they are of the same family in a circle and outline based, and it does not seem all out of the place. How they have linked their digital presence over here. So it can be done by small and medium firms as well. This is going to increase a lot of credibility to our work, and in it is going to add value to the clients as well, and thereby we can even charge appropriately to our clients. That is what ultimately Big Four does, right? Their presentation is just class up. So along with our quality of the services, we need to focus on presentation, keeping this concepts of design in mind and standardizing all the uh, all the processes and all the templates that we have. We can very well achieve this. So that's all from my side. And over to the coordinators.
Yes. Uh, so, any questions? Okay, I think even Q&A there are no questions. Uh, I guess it's very crystal clear. I hope none of the attendees have any doubts or any questions to be cleared.
I can be contacted here, and we understand the need for beautifying our reports just to convey the gist of the entire presentation.
Yes, so the contact details are there on the screen. And since we don't have any questions, I think we can wind up here at this point. So thank you very much to CA Mira Shah for sharing her rich knowledge on this topic with all of us. And these are really practical insights which I strongly believe all of us can implement while doing our reports, the nitty-gritties on small things. So beautifully explained. Um, and today, I guess we go back enriched with whatever knowledge we have gained from today's seminar, and hopefully we apply it in our day-to-day practical lives. So thank you very much to faculty and to all the attendees for being a patient audience. And let's keep continuing enriching ourselves at whatever opportunity we get. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Leave the meeting.